by the Spirit. I don't need to do anything else. I'm led by the Spirit, brother. I don't know about you, but I'm led by the Spirit. Yep, the Spirit got me doing, even though that spirit that they led by got them doing all kind of wickedness, all types of wickedness, they're going to tell you they led by the Spirit. And they're not going to continue reading down and getting an understanding on what this Spirit is talking about. This is what the Most High is dealing with. The Most High is dealing with stumbling blocks, and this is one of them. And there's plenty of stumbling blocks in the writings of Paul that you should not be dabbling with if you don't have a clear foundation in the Old Testament. That's what the Most High is dealing with. If you don't have a clear understanding about keeping the commandments, from Genesis all the way up to the time of Christ, everyone told you you had to keep the commandments. How all of a sudden you jump to Paul and Paul preaching another gospel from everyone else? All of a sudden Paul's preaching this totally different gospel that you won't find anywhere else in the Old Testament. It's not that he's preaching a different gospel, it's that you're choosing to not want to hear to what he's really saying. And you don't have the knowledge to be able to break down what he's saying. So the Most High has a stumbling block there for you and for the rest of all the other people who are going to get trapped in the Paul's writings. That's what he does. And it's not anything against Paul at all. Like I said, Paul is a sincere brother. He's a sincere brother. I'm pretty sure if he knew his letters would have been used at this wide of a scale, he would have not have written them the way that they were, the way that they are formatted today. He would have not have done that. So the Most High has a stumbling block out here in his letters. And there's plenty more of them that we'll go through in further lessons. But now what I'm going to show you is when you run across Paul's letters, if you're dabbling across his letters, a way that you'll always be safe. There's two scriptures I'm going to bring out. You'll always be safe and you'll never fall into the stumbling block if you stick to these two scriptures when you run across something that you might not understand. Like when you run across scriptures like we just went over, you might run across these and you might just be clear and you might not understand them. Always stick to these two scriptures and you will not fall into the stumbling block that the Most High has laid out for the children of wicked men. 1 Corinthians 11 verse 1. Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. Paul's letting you know, I follow the Messiah. I'm not coming with no new gospel. This is not my own gospel that I'm creating. I follow the Messiah. So now we got to take Paul. This is clear. This is clear. So now we got to take Paul and we got to take this verse into consideration every time we read one of Paul's writings. And now we got to find out, well, what did the Messiah say? Let's go and find out what he says, because when you read the Gospels, you're going to find out it is clear. There's a lot of parables in it that people don't understand. But when Christ speaks concerning the law, he is clear about it. He didn't come to do away with no law. He's very clear. So you go to this verse, and now we go to what Christ says. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. What does think not mean? That means don't get it inside of your mind. Don't try to put my name in any doctrine teaching that the laws are done away with. That's what Christ is telling you. That's what he's telling you, because he knew people in the last days would start preaching about you don't have to keep no laws. No, don't put my name in that at all, is what he's saying. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Christ came to fulfill the things that were written about him in the law and in the prophets. So if he destroyed the law or the prophets, he'd be getting rid of himself. He'd be destroying himself, because he's written all in the law and in the prophets. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Everything written about Christ must be fulfilled, and it has not been fulfilled. There's prophecies about his next return. There's prophecies about him having an everlasting kingdom. There's prophecies about him taking down all the kingdoms of the world. There's prophecies about him setting up the children of Israel in a government of the kingdom of heaven. These have not been fulfilled. So he says, till heaven and earth pass, nothing is going to pass from the law at all. These bear witness. Heaven and earth bear witness, and they're still here today. We can look up, we can look down. They're still here today. So that means the law didn't go nowhere. If you believe in Christ, this is why I say they don't preach the doctrine of Christ, because this is plain as day. This is clear as day. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. There goes your Christian church right there. That's where y'all aiming for. A lot of you out there. This is not all this, because there's some sincere Christians out there who really want to learn. And these videos are for you. There's some that really want to learn, but the majority of them, they don't want to learn. They just want to be lawless and do their own thing and worship their own gods and just use the Bible as a cover-up. He says, I'm telling you, if you're teaching that, and you're teaching, if you're doing no commandments and you're teaching men that they don't have to keep no commandments, he said you're going to be called least in the kingdom of heaven. You're going to have a low spot. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. If you're doing the commandments and keeping the commandments, and you're teaching people to keep the commandments, you are aiming for a great spot in the kingdom of heaven. Why they don't teach that in the Christian church? If we're supposed to be following Christ, why this verse don't come out in the Christian church? Because you're not following Christ. You're following misinterpretations of Paul's writings. 2-point-something billion people deceived because of misinterpretations of Paul's writings. And the Most High put that stumbling block there on purpose. Now let's find out one of these laws that you must keep and you're not twisting and to do your own will. Leviticus 19 verse 28. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord. No tattoos. You're not supposed to be doing that. You're not supposed to be carving in your skin, because the body is the temple. You're not supposed to be doing that. I'm gonna ask you, are we supposed to be doing that? Can we do, is that a law that's hard to keep? Or some of you just have to go get a tattoo? You see what I'm saying? The Most High want to see where your heart is at. That's what it all boils down to. He want to see where the children of men's heart is at. He wants to know the inner thoughts of each man. So he left these writings of Paul there purposely. He had a spirit put on Paul to write in this format, and he want to know what each and every one of you are about. He wants to know it. That's why it tells you that the gate, that broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many are going to go into that. But the gate that leads to the kingdom of heaven, he says, few are going to find it. Because the stumbling blocks that he put out, everyone's going to fall over that. Everyone's going to fall over that. So right now is your opportunity. If you got to take this lesson, listen to it, be attentive to it, and use these as tools to not fall into the stumbling blocks. I'm telling you right now, you got to keep the commandments and follow Christ. That's your ticket to the way to the kingdom of heaven. There's no other way. There's no other way. Anything that's going to get you against that, or as contrary to that, that you might perceive that way, leave it alone. You might not have a full understanding on it, and it's taking you into a different path. So with that, I'm going to say shalom. With the next videos that I'm going to bring out, we're going to go into a few of the topics that are major stumbling blocks with the Christian church. And we're going to give you some of these tools through the Spirit of the Most High for you to be able to jump out of that, if your heart is pure. With that, I say shalom until next time, and peace.